look at all that money, yeah, the money that they spent. Take another look now and take some time for hemp. Don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. Oh, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Right now, it's time for hemp.
Thank you for taking time for hemp. I am your host, Casper-Leitch. You are listening to the live broadcast of Time for Hemp all around the world on Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and of course, iHeartRadio. We are the only all-cannabis network in iHeartRadio, and like a good joint, we are best when shared with your friends. Big shout out to all of my friends up in Canada, that is, and let you know how much I love and respect your amazing work. I tell you, you guys have led the way in hemp industry for a good number of years, making hemp fuels, hemp papers, hemp fibers, hemp foods, and then you get this group of ass clowns into office and start taking a couple of steps backwards. I think my joint host, Kelly Kriston, can attest to that. Isn't that right, Kelly?
Yeah. Just exciting. It's super exciting up here.
I mean, I hate to every week point out the fact that your government is taking a step backwards there. But, you know, really, I mean, you got this great hemp industry. I mean, you're growing it acre by acre. Your government underwrites the advertising of hemp products all around the world. And yet the ninnies that sit in your parliament make all these stupid regulations.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the job of the government, to make everything difficult.
Well, they're winning at that, aren't they?
I don't know. Anytime I'm dealing with them, they're always winning. That's for sure.
Well, Kelly, I know how much you love the royal family. And unless I'm mistaken, anytime they're on the news there in Canada, you just drop what you're doing and watch to see what the Queen's wearing and if Charles is going to be king yet. And
No, you know, I mean, they are a figurehead for us, and they do come and visit, and we are part of the Commonwealth, and you know, we no longer was only in recent history with the British North America Act. You know, we used to abide by that. So yeah, we're there's a lot of that over here for sure.
So does the royal family own Canada?
Come on, man. Nobody owns Canada.
Well, I ask all that because today's guest is Sarah Godfrey and Pierre Marcar from England, and I know that you all share in the royal family amongst yourselves gives you common ground of some sort, but I think perhaps the marijuana regulations and the hemp industry are two totally different beasts in Canada and in England. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, I'll let you and Sarah and Pierre discuss that here on the Big Joint broadcast.
Hello, Sarah. How's it going?
Hi, Kelly. Hi, Pierre. Hi, Casper. It's good, thanks. Sunny at the moment in the UK. How are you?
Woo! You must, well, hopefully you're outside.
No, I'm not actually. It might be sunny, but it's not that bloody warm. It is England. Well, actually, it's the Welsh borders, so it's been a bit damp today.
So what is the temperature?
Wearing a jumper temperature.
You're in
bit
which
nippy.
temperature?
Bit on the nippy side.
Yeah, what is the actual temperature today there?
Probably around
12, 14.
I was going to do it in Fahrenheit. I can't do.
No. Well, we're 21 here.
Oh, that's yeah.
Well,
And also,
that's
It's 6:10 in the evening here now.
There you go.
And we've got an overcast grey sky in London, and over near the Welsh borders, I think it's slightly brighter.
You're right.
It is at the moment. Yes, it is. The sun is dipping. Yes, it is. It is gone 6 p.m. So yeah.
Well, what kind of temperatures will you get in the summer?
Well, I can only do Fahrenheit.
Well,
No, not in
varies.
Fahrenheit, in Celsius.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Well, we had, I think, our hottest day on Saturday. I think that was for Wimbledon and the Tour de France that kicked off. I think we were up at 26, 27, 28, around there, depending where you are in the country.
Yeah, there you go. So it's not so bad.
Yeah, that's a pretty good temperature for us. It does get hotter sometimes in the summer.
Yeah.
Is there much outdoor growing of cannabis in the UK?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
hang on.
Yeah.
Well, I think we ought to clarify that one. I mean, basically, we don't have anything like the medicinal, officially recognised organisations growing it with an assurance from the government that they'll be left alone and in fact protected. Here, any cannabis that is grown in this country is illegal, and if it gets grown outdoors, it's because people are planting it there with a hope that they can come back to it later to be able to gather it.
Yeah, Pierre's right. It is illegal. When I say there's growing, there is growing going on. It's very different to the outdoor growing in Canada. Yeah.
Right. Well,
It's
but there's absolutely not even a medical program of any type.
Nothing. Oh well.
Well,
again,
there is one, isn't there, Pierre? There's one grower who's allowed to grow, not outdoors though, indoors.
No. Yeah.
That's the only medical grower.
So who's the golden? There's one. Wow, one in the country, man. That must be gold. He must be pretty busy character.
Well, it's two people. It's two people, and it's a company that the British government set up. Go back 10 years, they lowered the legal status of cannabis down to C in this country so that they could do some research. But basically, that was just a cover so that they could basically get the company started. They are based at Porton Down. I shouldn't be telling you that. That's supposed to be a secret. Porton Down.
Yeah, you can Google it. Everyone.
You can Google it, and all you have to do is look on their headed notepaper, and it's there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically this secret place. Porton Down is where the British Army has its nerve warfare research centre. Lovely pedigree. So they grow on this ultra high security base 20 tons worth of cannabis each year and make a product called Sativex. And that product they sell to the NHS for £340 for 5 grams, which is extortionate. But they have a monopoly, and it's a controlled monopoly. This is a real racket, and it's so bad that the NHS would be completely bankrupted if they had to give everybody who needed it that drug. So it's become a postcode lottery in that the vast majority of people get told no. Of course, if you're very rich, you can afford it. So it's become a drug for the rich, but then the poor have to suffer. And at the same time, our Home Secretary, Theresa May, tells us, we have a letter from her saying that cannabis has no medical value.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it's prescribed on the NHS to a select few.
A select few. So obviously it's very difficult to get any type of
I tried actually. I tried because it's prescribed on the NHS for epilepsy and MS, and I've been prescribed anti-epileptics for severe muscle spasms for many years now. And I thought I'd give it a shot. My consultant even wrote me a letter saying that I was taking cannabis oil and that it was really effective medicine for me and was doing an excellent job, and I should be prescribed Sativex, mainly because I was spending money, quite a lot of money on making my own oil, and I should be able to get this on prescription. But I was turned down for funding, and my doctor told me that even if I had MS or epilepsy and was under an MS or epilepsy consultant, it would still be highly unlikely that I would get the medicine because it's just so expensive.
Right. Wow. How much did you say that was again in a per pound, or for
300
5 grams?
£340 for 5 grams. Now that's the cost to the NHS. Apparently the NHS, when it is allowed to sell it through privately, they put up a markup on it, so it gets even more expensive.
Well, with exchange, that's 646 Canadian dollars, roughly 650 or whatever. Divide that by 5. That's $130 a gram Canadian. Wow, that's special.
And you thought that some drug dealers will rip off merchants. Here, they really know how to take the biscuit with the monopoly.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I guess that's what a monopoly can do for you.
Yeah, that's some kind of markup.
Well, the odd thing is, we hear that in America that Sativex is available for less money, and it makes us ask the question, because we haven't been able to get a proper answer on this. We know that the American Health Service has taken out a patent on cannabis, and we are wondering whether the reason why it's so expensive in England is because we're having to pay the American government money to use their patent effectively, even though it's made here.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Wow.
Yeah, I'd love to know. There's some reason why it's so much more in England than it is in America for exactly the same product, exactly the same.
Well, I don't know what the product sells for in Canada, but I'm sure it's less than what you are paying in the UK as well. It just seems like ridiculously over the top. Yeah, we need free market in there and allow that medicine to get to the people that need it. That's craziness.
Yeah, fortunately, people, the public in the UK are starting to hear about, they're starting to find out about Sativex and the fact that they can't get it. For example, in a paper called the Daily Mail a couple of weeks ago, the Daily Mail is a very sort of Middle England newspaper. It represents quite a, what you might call a middle-class chunk of England. That's probably a bad description.
Well, the right wing.
Right wing, yeah, that's more like it. Anyway, there was even an article in that paper, right-wing paper, with someone saying, I am a classic Daily Mail reader. I have MS. Why am I not getting Sativex? Now, once people like that start demanding answers, then things have to change because there's such a big chunk of them in the country, basically, at the moment.
Right.
But It's taking too long. People are suffering whilst we're waiting for this change to happen, and they're earning huge amount of money while they're delaying the change in legislation. Right.
Well, I'm sure I don't know about the wheels of government in there, but the wheels in government here turn really, really slow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the things that we've noticed is that I think pretty much everywhere, well, in England in particular, in 2010, we had the Tory government came in, and they've been putting forward a lot of what the Americans would call neoliberal economics into place. So it's going back to the kind of economics that were Thatcher's time.
Ronald Reagan and Thatcher era.
Yeah, and behind that is this belief that you can move everything into corporations and free markets, but the free markets just really mean that the corporations get to do what they want.
Yeah, exactly. They have got a completely free reign over it all, really. It's just, I just hope that in the election next year, things do actually change. I live
You
in
have an
hope.
election. Yeah, you have an election next year as well.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, next May there's a general election. So you have one next year too, then?
Yeah, you bet. It's going to be. I think there's going to be big change here.
Wicked. That's what we're hoping for too, because so many people now are sick of the right-wing government we've had for a few years now that's just destroying our NHS and our benefit system, just targeting the ill and vulnerable and poor people, really. So I'm hoping it will be a big change here as well. Be interesting to see. We'll have to cover both of them, both elections, and see what happens.
Well, that is just so much different than the governments in America and Canada, because I can attest, and I'm sure Kelly can attest, that our government loves us and is concerned about us and wants to do the very best for us and see how they can help us succeed. Well, that was hard to say with a straight face.
I've got to tell you that they're also trying to put through right now an infrastructure bill, the Infrastructure Act. And if this goes through, it will mean that all of the common land, all of the National Trust properties, everything that basically does not belong to the super rich, like the Queen and all the noble families, will basically be open for fracking and for mining.
Ouch.
Yeah, there's
Wow.
lots of.
Well, and maybe soon you'll build a pipeline from England into America and to Canada to pump oil too.
Well, we've already considered ourselves an American aircraft carrier overseas for quite some time now. If they could figure a way of towing us through the Straits of Gibraltar, I'm sure we'd be right next to Israel.
We nearly fit as well.
Well, with that said, we are going to take a commercial break, pay our bills, listen to a song about how groovy marijuana is, and then come back and take a whole lot more. Time for hemp. You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is hemp.org.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away.
Don't criticize it.
Hotbox Jamaica. Chill.
Legalize it, yeah.
Relax. And burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special. 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. Hotbox Jamaica, a higher meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigrow products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigrow lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com, or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigrow really is your sunlight in a box.
Education and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
For all my people struggling, just cut a switch and roll it. I bet you that'll ease your pain and help it be focused. For all my people losing hope, they need to stand up and vote. Cause medical marijuana just might be that road that we can climb up so we can reach our peak. Cause on the real, marijuana help our peeps eat. Like people with AIDS, cancer, and eating disorders. It's time to take a stand, dog, and get it in order so we can smoke freely like across the border. Marijuana, it helps people just like water. What's the problem? It's a natural herb. If you ain't know, then I'm telling you it came from the earth. All we gotta do is stand up, stick together, and fight. Showing we know our rights, point out the facts and recite to make a difference. And medical marijuana itself, go back to the basics and showing we helps. All we gotta do is stand up, stick together, and fight. Showing we know our rights, point out the facts and recite to make a difference. And medical marijuana itself, go back to the basics and showing we helps.
It's a lot of people sick and they ain't got no help, so they roll up a joint just to help their health, wishing for a way to legalize. Marijuana got us really high, barely getting by. Man, they wanna give a case to a young chiefer for getting caught with a little reefer. Medicinal marijuana, yeah, my people need it, and we gon' fight for the cause. We tired of hiding weed in our socks and our drawers. This what God grew for me and you. Stick together, we can make it through. Dreams really come true, and it's a fact that we need that. So we gon' ride till they legalize the chronic herb, now where the weed at?
All we gotta do is stand up, stick together, and fight. Showing we know our rights, point out the facts and recite to make a difference. And medical marijuana itself, go back to the basics and showing we helps. All we gotta do is stand up, stick together, and fight. Showing we know our rights, point out the facts and recite to make a difference. And medical marijuana itself, go back to the basics and showing we helps. Seen it for ourselves, so if we know the value, why we keep it to ourselves? When we can save another life and show them the method, tell them to legalize it, dog. It's not a weapon, the only thing is helping is marching and stepping, stand up, protesting, so they stop neglecting the truth. And just explain to the youth that it's not to be abused, so they won't be confused. All we gotta do is stand up, stick together, and fight. Showing we know our rights, point out the facts and recite to make a difference. And medical marijuana itself, go back to the basics and showing we helps. All we gotta do is stand up, stick together, and fight. Showing we know our rights, point out the facts and recite to make a difference. And medical marijuana itself, go back to the basics and showing we helps.
Yeah, this song is dedicated to all the med patients. All the people that need their weed to make it through their everyday life. And it's dedicated to Jonathan Magby, paraplegic who lost his life in jail because the judge ain't like the fact that he was smoking weed. Rest in peace, Jonathan. It's from the individuals. Much love.
You are listening to Time for Hemp live all around the world. That was the Individuals with the song called Weed Helps. And boy, does weed ever help. This is a joint broadcast, and anytime you hear the word joint on the big network, know that 2.5 million people all around the world pack their bongs, their pipes, their vaporizers, and of course, their joints. And take Time for Hemp. My joint host tomorrow will be Peter Chris, and my joint host on Thursday is Paul Stanford. My joint host on Friday is Michael Crowitz. My joint host right now is Kelly Kriston, and we have a great joint conversation going on with two of our joint friends, Sarah Godfrey and Pierre Marcar. And before we get back to our joint chat, Kelly, why don't you tell our joint audience about the offer that you and your team jointly make available to the marijuana movement?
You bet, especially med patients around the world. Certainly, you have hopefully some people listening in to you there in the UK. We offer 100% for free a quality vaporizer, the Herbal Air, to a medical patient somewhere in the world. As we know, anybody that deals with the people in the medical side of things, a lot of them are on assisted income or disability pensions or old age pensions or whatever the case may be, and they tend to not be able to afford such a quality device or could never afford one. As a matter of fact, some of them, depending on where they live and how much they get, I'm sure it's difficult just to pay. Well, I know here in Calgary, it's difficult to pay rent and buy food, let alone medicine, and then certainly dream about getting a quality vaporizer. So for that reason, we are in search of these medical patients, and they can be anywhere in the world. Certainly anybody listening in the UK, we do have units with UK plug that we can ship directly out there. And yes, we also pay the shipping to get it to you. And it is 100% free. All we ask is that, of course, you are a medical patient that would love to have one and could simply never afford one. It's very simple. All you have to do is send me an email to Kelly, Kelly, at kdkwholesale.ca. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how we can get a hold of you. And, hopefully we can get you out a free vaporizer.
And on behalf of the marijuana movement, Kelly, thank you so much. That is so gracious that you and your team are able to do that.
Wow, what an amazing offer. That is incredible.
That is such grace. Beautiful.
Now, I'll let you get back to your joint chat. I know you're all just under the same crown there, so. You had a good joint chat going during the break.
Yeah, you bet. We were talking about, I was interested in, of course, the laws over there and, how harsh it may or may not be. And apparently it's pretty harsh. Certainly, with people trying to grow medicinally for themselves are actually being brought into court, maybe showing a little bit of small amount of compassion because they are a medical patient, but it still remains highly illegal there, even for people who are suffering to try and produce their own medicine.
Indeed. An ex-policeman who lives, I believe, in Wales, he has retired and he had a chronic MS, and he was growing, I think he had 6 plants growing in his place, and the police raided him. They took his plants and they tipped the earth in his bath.
No way.
Yeah, what a horrible thing to do to someone who's ill.
Wow.
And an ex-policeman, one of their own, really.
Yeah. Insane. Wow.
It seems that there is an underlying fear that's going through the political system, which is that they almost fear the public's approval of medical cannabis because they think that it's a how can I say, nothing but a ruse trying to become the thin end of a wedge for the bigger general recreational legalization.
I think it's a whole. I think it's more like the thin end of the wedge for everything, because once people start to learn about medical cannabis, and they'll start to learn about hemp, they'll start to learn about alternatives to the petrochemical industry, and just the pharmaceutical industry alone is enough for them to, slow it down. Any changes in the law for as long as possible. They're raking it in. They have absolutely no reason whatsoever unless the public forces it. Basically, that's the only way it's going to happen, unfortunately, because it's
it
all
always
about money
boils
to them.
down to the people, and hopefully as the government doesn't always give the people what they want, we have to tell. It's the people who tell the government what to do, and we need to get out there and tell them.
Exactly, yeah, it should be. I mean, can I ask, Kelly, what are the political parties like in Canada then?
We recently had the Liberal Party come out and actually state that if elected, they would legalize cannabis, not only medicinally but actually recreationally. So
Excellent.
Initially the response, of course, from the sitting party was to denounce that and run it through the mill however they felt necessary. And what they found out was the Canadian public started to show a tremendous amount of more support towards the Liberals because of their coming out and saying that they would actually do that. Now, of course, first of all, we have to elect them. And then second of all, they have to do what they say they were going to do. And of course, as you know, things change or whatever, but, certainly hopeful. But what it did, and what it was successful in doing, was bringing it into the public's eye, of course, because it became a newsworthy item. Oh my God! And the pros and cons, and it sparked a lot of debate and just getting information out there, having it on the news, in the newspapers, and letting the people to make decisions for themselves by what they read or what they hear from different sides. And so it was really, really good for us. And surprisingly enough, the hardcore conservatives, which we have in now, which have been taking step backwards and making the laws more difficult and coming down harsher on cannabis, they've actually sort of realized that the Canadian public is very much, I believe, ready for legalization. And I think if we were to vote on it, we would probably make it. And it's a fairly bold statement, but I honestly believe that we're there. And
Wow.
the conservatives have recently sort of taken a couple of steps backwards. But again, it's not much of an improvement because they've already passed laws and done stuff that has really moved us backwards a long ways, and it'll take a long time to fix up things, but hopefully we can deal with that in the future with a new government.
Yeah. And can I ask about the Liberals in the polls? How far ahead or far behind are they doing at the moment?
Well, the political landscape in Canada has three major parties, and with a fourth one thrown in there that's strictly one province's party. And so it makes for usually a majority government that, less than 30% or less than 20% of the people maybe even vote for in the country when you compare how many people actually vote, so how many votes they actually got. We have majority governments with unfortunately very, very few votes needed to get there. The Conservatives and Liberals are always basically 1 and 2, with the NDP in there in third, moving up and down depending on I guess, what's going around different areas in the country. The fourth party, the Parti Québécois, which is strictly a French party, looking to their mandate is to separate from Canada, take Quebec and make it its own province for the French-speaking people of Canada. So depending there, again, sometimes they get a lot of seats, sometimes they don't get a lot of seats. And in the last federal election, the Liberals, which are generally either in first or in second with the Conservatives, took a really, really heavy beating because they had a poor leader. They chose a very poor leader, and they lost dramatically. And for the first time in that I know of in Canadian history, the NDP party shot from third to second and became the official opposition. And but unfortunately, their leader has passed away, and I think that was a big reason why they got where they were. So I see a shift back towards the Liberals, especially with their, what the Conservatives have done. I think the Conservatives have done more harm to themselves, and I think the people are ready to move on, which is a great thing. And hopefully the Liberals get in there and they do legalize cannabis, because it should be done.
Totally, yeah.
Well, that's a good time right there for a stop and take a break, pay our bills, and let everybody know how important it is to go to the websites of the banners that you find at timeforhemp.com, and let our sponsors know that you heard about them here on the big broadcast. This morning, we started our Japanese version of Time for Hemp. We are now broadcasting 1 hour Monday, 1 hour on Wednesday. I'm sorry, we started it yesterday. All in Japanese, so we're excited about that. This afternoon, we have every Tuesday and Thursday an hour in Spanish, and on Fridays you can listen to us for an hour in French, because we think it's important that all corners of the world know how important it is to take time for hemp. You are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
If you are in the Portland, Oregon area and are an OMMP cardholder, then come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market, Portland, Oregon's first and only weekly OMMP market, presented by the Alternative Wellness Center, located at 5241 Southeast 72nd Avenue, 2 blocks south of Foster Boulevard, close to public transportation, held every Sunday 10 a.m. till 7 p.m., connecting quality vendors with patients. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market also has a weekly raffle with products from every vendor. So come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market and have fun while connecting with quality vendors and getting great natural medicine. If you are a vendor and want a chance to connect with OMMP patients, you can check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/Alternative Wellness Center or call 971-888-4392. Be sure to register early because space is limited. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market.
In need of a ganja vacation? Blaze away.
Don't criticize it.
Hotbox Jamaica. Chill. Relax and burn all day while watching the amazing ocean view. Listen to the birds. Bathe in the mineral waters of the Ganja River. Munch on tasty Jamaican Rasta food. Take a weed farm tour and hold a meditation. Book this amazing vacation for $420. Get the Sativa Special. 7 nights in Sativa dorms with ganja meals and airport transfer. Check us out at hotboxjamaica.com. That's hotboxjamaica.com. Hotbox Jamaica, a higher meditation vacation.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigrow products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigrow lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com. Or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigrow really is your sunlight in a box.
Free? Did you say free? Free hemp? Free hemp? Free hemp video and audio? Free downloads of all the top artists, all the pot artists on planet Earth. Interviews with all the people making the movement, making the hemp movement. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp.
Well, now, chocolate cake makes my poor stomach ache, and all those pills are too much for me to take. I don't like cocaine 'cause it makes me all uptight, but coffee and reefer makes me feel alright. Crystal meth will make you high.
Yeah, coffee and reefer does make me feel all right. First thing I do when I roll out of bed in the morning is get myself a great big cup of Joe. Then Joe gets dressed and go to work, and I make myself some coffee, pack myself a bowl, and I get busy in front of the computer trying to make the world a better place. If you're just sitting around watching America's Got No Talent and trying to figure out if Gilligan's going to get off that island, I got news for you. You're part of the problem. You need to get up off that couch and put one foot in front of the other and get out that door and let the world know how important it is to end prohibition. It is the Big Joint broadcast today. Time for Hemp. We are live on Tumblr, SoundCloud, and iTunes. And my joint host, Kelly Kriston from KDK Distributors, is having an interesting joint conversation with our joint friends from England. And I will hush my mouth and let you get back to your joint chat here on Time for Hemp.
Thanks, Casper.
Well, we're all excited. We had so much to talk about on the break, and now
I'm stoned as well. I've got to be honest. I've been trying out this new weed, and it's just floored me a bit more than I thought it would. Actually, it was meant to be a buzzy high, and it's kind of like a whoa.
Well, we'll move from that.
Yes.
It's nice to know that you have good medicine there.
Yeah, well, luckily, I say yeah, but that's only because I've been growing for about 7 years because I could no longer afford to buy it, which I thought was expensive until I found out what GW Pharmaceuticals charges our NHS. Yeah, so I grow organic cannabis of all different strains. I grow lots of things. I grow lots of other medicinal herbs and vegetables, and you know, to me, cannabis is just part of all my medicine and food. But so I can grow good medicine at home organically, the strains I want, etc. But it's illegal, and I'm still taking a risk of, even if I got nicked and they let me off with just a caution, they'd still take all my equipment and my plants. I'd lose my crop, I'd lose my medicine, And stress. Stress makes me so ill that it could turn my illness life-threatening again, like it was before I went into remission. And it's a big risk, and I'm angry that they put me in that situation. As far as I'm concerned, it should be my human right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's fairly universal around the world, and times are changing. I know that we've taken a step backwards here in Canada in recent history, but we're definitely hopeful that the future will bring a little more common sense, not only to this arena, but hopefully all the other arenas that the government deals with.
Yeah, I do feel like there is definitely a big global change happening. There's a movement all over the world, and there is a knock-on domino effect happening at the moment. And our country, like yours, has been through a conservative right-wing period for the last few years where things have gone backwards a little bit and things have got harder. But we're hopeful too. There's a change on the way. Hopefully the public have got sick of it now, and like your Conservatives, ours realise as well that they have actually alienated a lot of the public towards them by their behaviour. So, hopefully things will improve.
Well, we have an interesting situation in that, like you, we have one political party, and only the one, called the Green Party, and they're the only party that would definitely legalise medical cannabis. They have as a slightly lower on their priorities that they would want to look at bringing in deregulation of drugs altogether. Obviously with a view to taxing it like on the Colorado model, I should imagine. But they are the only ray of hope that we have. They're also the only party that's against fracking. So there is a possibility that the fracking movement and the cannabis movement are going to be forced together and are going to be motivating people to move towards the Green Party. But currently they're fifth in the parties.
Oh, I thought they were fourth, Pierre. I got that wrong then. They're fifth, are they? That's a bit disheartening.
Well, the Liberals have shot themselves in the foot by going into this coalition government with the Tories, but they still have a residual fan base, I was going to say, voter base.
Such a sort of pantomime.
Yeah, they've turned into a party that the intellectual people always used to go back to, but now they have just turned into such a power-hungry little bunch of ne'er-do-wells that they've lost most of their credibility. The
Liberals have just been told what to do by the Conservatives and have been completely walked over and have had no authority whatsoever in this government. So they've lost a huge amount of credibility.
Yeah, under them the education fees tripled. Under them, we had this bedroom tax, where people who have disabilities but often needed an extra bedroom for carers to come and stay over. They weren't allowed to keep those properties if they were paid for by the council. They had to move to smaller properties. Unbelievable.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, it's there are so many rules that are coming in that are basically penalising the poor and penalising the ill. Apparently, it's the fault of the poor that the economy went down. The Tory party blame the last left-wing government for all of the ills that befell our country, and they seem to completely ignore the fact that the banks had a very large part to play in that.
Yeah, as far as they're concerned, we just didn't work hard enough or knuckle down enough. The cheeky sods.
So the Green Party is a ray of hope, and we would love it if we could help be part of a green renaissance in the UK. And to also to help the cannabis cause, we have to mention our charity's aim, which is in the next couple of years, we hope to have got together 100 people who grow their own cannabis because it's either cured their terminal illness, or it's enabling them to live a viable life with a chronic illness, and for them to put their name on paper and say to people and be there, and that the police will know about them, that they grow certain strains, how many plants they'll have, but they're not criminals. They're just people trying to stop being a burden on society.
Well said, Pierre. Yes, we need 100 people who grow their own medicine to come forward in the UK and go on the Herbal 100. You can check out our charity's website at www.hempworkscharityuk.org. There are details there of how to contact us, and lots of information.
Yeah, and just so you know, if you are such a person, you're not, just by contacting us, you're not going to be outed in any way. Even up to the last minute, when we have 100 people, we'll be double checking with everyone that they're still okay with going ahead before we finally do the final thing.
Yeah, all details will be confidential.
Yeah.
Wow, I wish you luck on achieving that 100 and maybe 200.
So I hope so. I live in hope. I think things have to change, and by spreading the word, then they have to. Fortunately, we've got the internet nowadays.
Yes, and the other thing is that the mindset of the most people that we're meeting when we're going out to events like a Veg Fest and Raw Fest is that we're meeting people who are really open-minded about it, and it's quite surprising. We thought it would be more difficult to talk about this than it actually is in practice.
Nice.
Yeah, the public seem to be right behind it. I'm sure it's the same in Canada. As you said, Kelly, if there was a vote, you're absolutely sure that it would be voted in favour of cannabis legalization, and I'm sure that's what would happen here if there was a public vote.
I agree. Yeah. Let's face it. We here in North America, and there especially as well, back to the 60s when things really went marijuana-ish. And, those people are now, all those people that smoked in the 60s when they went to university, they all know that it's okay, and that it has legitimate value as a medicine for a lot of people, and people who like to use it recreationally. They've seen it since then, and they realize that it needs to be done. I'm sure of it. They're smoking everywhere, in the government, in the police, in the wherever. Everybody knows somebody. It's wildly accepted. You go out to events here in Canada for certain things, and of course there will be actual police officers there who also compete in those types of things, and they'll just walk away, and let them understand that these people just, they're gonna smoke a joint, but they're bound to the rules of their job, which means they're basically a policeman 24/7. So, but they have a brother or a child or a parent that smokes or whatever. It's very universal, and what we're doing right now is ridiculous, and we just need to legalize it and save everybody a lot of grief.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, it's time to wrap it up and let everybody know about the URLs that you want to promote, and let them know about any events that are coming up, and this is the time to say so.
Well, Sarah, do you want to give the charities?
The website address of the Hempworks Charity UK, go to www.hempworkscharityuk.org. Our next event will be, is it Raw Fest,
It is,
Pierre?
indeed. Yes.
Which
down
is...
in Lawton. 17th to the 19th of July, I believe.
Thank you. Yes, that's not far off, is it?
Yeah. And also, can we say thank you to Steve Danks, because it was his beautiful a survival using the plant, surviving his terminal liver cancer, that inspired us to actually get this charity going.
Yes, thanks, Steve. He did spark the whole thing off. So we do owe him we owe him a big thank you. Cheers, Steve. Nice one, Stevie Sunshine.
And
Go,
Kelly.
Stevie Sunshine.
And Kelly.
Kelly, I am trying to find the exact dates of our Prairie Cup because I wanted to throw a shout out for them. I guess go to their site, Prairie Medicinal Harvest Cup. I can't see the actual date yet. So anyhow, it's up and coming, and it's a great event. And a couple of us from KDK will definitely be attending. That's the Prairie Medicinal Harvest Cup.
Fantastic. And make it a point to turn out and be part of that event. Kelly, next week we got a company that is building an airplane, I think, out of hemp. Their Hemp Works there up in Canada. And then the following week we've got, I think, somebody who's in charge of an organization there in Canada as well. So we'll be talking to people from your neck of the woods. Coming up on the next hour, we have out of England, Steve Danks. And then after that, we have Mike Bafari and Morgiana Sativa broadcasting from Chile, all letting the world know how important it is to take time for hemp.